time.
Hey!
Hello.
We're just going live. Just cause we're just going.
We're here together.
Here. I want to do this more regularly, but we don't see each other enough.
I feel like since spring break, we're both back now.
So you're going to do this every day with me?
Every day. I don't have that much to say.
You do. You have 3 children. So they teach you lessons every day.
They do. One especially right now.
So lazy parenting, we need to get back at it. There's been spring break, and there's been so many things going on that we haven't been on here very much. Because I got to go away.
Yes.
And I said I was going to do a Disney hack video.
So fun.
Because you went to Disney with your kids recently.
Mm-hmm.
I just went to Disney with 4 kids and a husband. And it was really, really good. Like, it was really low stress. I mean, they're older, so I don't have, like, little toddlers screaming and yelling. But I feel like we've kind of mastered the Disneyland hacks.
Don't know. Yeah,
Didn't you have a good time when you
Yeah,
went?
we were great, and my youngest is 6, and he was fine, and he figured it out. I wouldn't have wanted to take him any younger.
Oh, you want me to do your makeup today, too?
Yes. You're just realizing that now?
She needs makeup. Should I do makeup while we talk on Wednesday night?
No.
I'll do it afterwards. You need to watch on the Stephanie Kennedy, and I will go live and do her makeup really quickly before I leave here too.
But I think the key thing about Disney is that when you go, is that you have to know you can't spend the whole day there. Like, I just see some parents there with their kids and they're crying, like it's like 1 o'clock or 3 o'clock, that you have to stay close enough that you can go home, have a nap,
split day,
and then go back. Because that's the key.
It is. So on this video, we're not going to do a Disney video today, but the number 1 hack for Disneyland is to do 2 parts to your day.
Yeah.
And so stay close enough that you can go first thing, and if you get the early morning, go to the early morning, blitz all of the rides, leave.
When it gets super packed.
Have a nap. I even napped, and I'm 46 years old. So I went back to the hotel and napped.
And eat.
And the kids just kind of chilled.
Yeah.
Some of them went into the swimming pool. Yeah. And then we went back for the evening time and then to watch the fireworks. Did a few more rides with our fast passes. So that's Disney. So I'm going to do a video on that because my husband, he's like the Disney master. He was really good. And he's done that with his teams, like when he's taking basketball teams.
Okay.
And now it's all on your phone.
Yeah.
And so it's even easier than it used to have to run.
To all the fast
All
pass
of the fast
stations?
pass
Yes.
stations.
That was
You don't have
great.
to do that anymore. If you haven't been to Disneyland in a year, it has changed. All right, so that was Disneyland.
Yeah.
And then I wanted to talk today. Well, I don't know. How are you?
I'm fine.
How are your children?
Well, one of them is driving me crazy.
Which one?
The youngest.
Oh. Why?
Well, because over spring break, he had this thing where his leg hurt.
Oh, yeah. Yes, tell him the story. This is a good story.
So he's 7 now. And I remember it was right before bedtime. We were watching TV. And we watched TV before bed. And he fell off the couch, but not hard enough to hurt anybody or himself. And then he got back up on the couch and he said his leg hurt. Then for the next 5 days, he couldn't walk. He literally crawled around my house. He wouldn't walk. He either had to be carried because if I wanted him to be somewhere quickly or outside, but he would drag himself everywhere because he said his leg hurt. And so I didn't know if I should take him to the hospital because I thought, well, maybe if I threaten him, not threaten, but, oh, well, we have to go to the doctor, then he would say, no, I'm fine, because he doesn't like doctors or he doesn't want to go to the hospital. He's like, no, let's go. And I'm like, oh, nothing looked bruised or broken, and so I kept delaying it day after day because I was super busy that week.
Lazy parenting at its finest right there.
Right.
You're too lazy to take him to the hospital.
Right, I was.
Or the doctor.
Well, I was just so busy. And then,
what if his leg was really broken?
Well, I just feel like I felt it, and he could push his toes against my hand, and I can push against his. Like, there was no pain in anything I did to him. I felt his leg. Like, I have first aid, so I know the basics. And nothing hurt. But he could not walk. Like, and as soon as he stood up, he would, fall back down. And so I thought...
I can just imagine him trying to stand up. Yeah. Oh, my leg hurts. And
Right?
collapsing to the ground.
Yeah,
They're such drama boys.
He is. And so I use sometimes essential oils at home. I have quite a few. And so I came up with this idea. I'm like, oh, we'll put a magic potion on your leg. Because sometimes I've used them on him for random reasons. And so I was like, I had a roller ball. And so it just had some deep blue in it. And I put it on his leg. And I'm like, this is magic potion. It helps with these kind of things. It should make your leg feel better by morning. And so by morning he could walk. He's like, Mom, that magic potion worked.
There you go, doTERRA, magic blue. If you, there you go. Just get that for your kids and rub it all over them when they say something hurts, and then they'll be all magically better.
Right, and so like he's still limped a little bit, but then like in a day or two, he's totally fine. But now there's a new thing.
But hold on, is he running around now?
Yeah, he's totally fine. Leg fine, not broken, not anything. So I don't know what it was. I thought maybe growing pains. Like maybe
I had really bad growing pains as a kid.
I totally remember it.
I'm so old, and none of my kids have really
complained about
growing pains.
Yeah, I remember that too. I remember aching aching, and so I thought maybe that was it.
Yeah.
So that's why I let go. But then, kind of a few days after that stopped, he now has a sore stomach. Every day he doesn't want to go to school because his tummy hurts, and he's gone to the bathroom. He's not like backed up or anything, and he's eating normal food, and he's not throwing up because we did have the stomach flu earlier in the month. But now his stomach hurts and he doesn't want to go to school because it hurts. He even had me come pick him up. He called the teacher, or he told the teacher to ask me to come and pick him up. But when he's at school, the teacher says he doesn't complain. Just at lunchtime, he's like, my stomach hurts. My mom said if I had a sore stomach, she'll come pick me up. So I don't it's now going on like 7 days of a sore stomach.
Stress.
It's something. And so ever since spring break was over. And so I'm dealing with that.
That's not fun.
No, he doesn't want to go to school. Nope. Yeah. So I don't know.
You have to make staying home not fun.
Yes. Well, that's what I said. I said you'd have to stay in your bed with no phone, play with
no electronics.
No electronics, no TV. And he said okay. And he was prepared to stay in bed.
But have you done that with him yet?
No, I have not kept him home. I keep sending him. Because I think when he forgets about it, he's fine.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going
on. It's a weird stage. These children, they go through crazy stages every once in a while.
Yeah.
Just to stress you out and push you to your limit.
When I'm super busy.
How strong you are.
I feel like they always, not always, but if they are to do something out of the ordinary, it's when I am super stressed and super busy.
Well, and there you go. So there's one of the parenting things, right? What did we say that all kids want?
Yep, all those things.
All kids want attention, and they all want power in their lives. And literally every behavior issue or problem you have with your child can come down to those two things, like in some form. And so when you're really busy and stressed, what is that doing, right? They're not getting attention.
No, because I haven't been home.
Right, and so they need some attention. And so how you manage to figure that piece out, and that doesn't, that is something we have to remember, right? And then the second reason why they get upset and stuff is usually because they feel like they have no power, so they can't make their own decisions. They're feeling like they don't get to choose things. And so how can you implement little ways in your house and in your home and in your daily life where they feel like they're getting to have some say over things?
Yeah.
And so, and then anxiety, the anxiety's thrown around a lot right now as a word with children and with parenting. And so I think we need to be a little bit careful with that. But yes, ultimately stress. We all have stress. Little kids manifest stress with illness, in my opinion. Stomach aches.
What do they have to be stressed about? He's freaking 6-7 years old. That's what gets me. What is so bad in his life that he is stressed out?
No, it could be anything.
I know.
And so you have to, again, so one of the things that Dawn and I do is we work with lots of athletes, child athletes, kids. Yeah. And we see it when we coach too. We see kids complain about injuries. We complain about soreness, complain about things for the same reasons, right? Yeah. It's an attention-seeking behavior as well. And so is the tummy ache a way for them to get attention from you? Is it an actual stress or anxiety? So in their life, there's lots of things that could be bothering them, from a kid at school who's stressing them out for something that you have said to them in the past that they're manifesting and fixating on. Yeah, for sure. All that kind of stuff. So
Yep.
It's hard.
It is, and I just don't see myself not busy for the next 5 days. I'm at home any night this week to spend with him or on the weekend. So you'll have to wait till Monday. Literally, no time. But
time can even be, you're not home for bedtime.
No,
even, right?
Not this week.
And in the morning?
I see him in the morning.
So you could do some cuddles, early morning cuddles. You could climb into bed with him and have some cuddles.
Well, he's been having nightmares every night, so I end up in his bed in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Anyways, because he's having a nightmare. So, which is new. He hasn't had those. So I don't know if that's related to the stomach ache.
Yeah.
Because he's not sleeping so great. Because he's having these nightmares every night for the last week or so.
What are they about?
He won't tell me. He can't say. He's like, either he doesn't want to repeat it, he says, or he can't remember right in the moment when he wakes up. Or he's, I don't want to tell you. So, I don't know. He doesn't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a tough one.
Yep.
Parenting is hard. I wanted to talk today about the topic, which I'm going to have a blog post posted about, which is accountability and teaching your children accountability and responsibility. Mm-hmm. So the reason why this came up is there's been some things that have happened around people in my life and around me where, and even in myself, I feel like as I've gotten older and as my kids have gotten older, something that I'm as a self person working on is responsibility for my own actions, like, and my own happiness and my own whatever. So not looking to either my spouse to give me happiness or make me feel good, not looking to my children to make me feel good, not looking to my friends, right? Like taking responsibility for my own actions, my own health, my own happiness, my own stress, all of that kind of thing. And then it makes me think about, so when you do that, you kind of look at other people around you and you go like, come on people, like, stop blaming other people for your stuff.
Right.
And as a parent, I see this with kids and I see this with my own children. So a couple of examples that kind of come to light are things like when, your child does badly. Let's say I have an older kid. Let's say does badly on a test. Oh, well, the test was like stupid, or the test was on things that the teacher didn't tell us the things were going to be on.
Right.
And so it made me think about all the way back to when the kids are little, like itty bitty. What are the things that we're doing from a young age to start teaching them responsibility for their own actions, for their own feelings, for things that happen to them, rather than reinforcing, probably unintentionally, because as parents, we're not trying to teach them like bad behaviors or bad things or
blaming other people.
But it starts at a really, really young age. And I go all the way back, and this is to something that happened back when my kids were little, and that's at Disneyland. Like, as simple as teaching kids about lying and not lying.
Oh,
you know what I'm
I know what you're saying.
Because this comes up to, like, this is something that always comes up to my brain. So we were at a place, it could be as simple as a movie theater. You are paying, and your child is there with you, and you're paying for your child to get into the movie theater, and they're too old. Like, they're not too old. They're no longer a child. They're an adult age. Like, so I don't know if it's 13 or 14 or 12, or it could be a child's fee or an adult fee. And they see you, like, lie about how old they are.
Right, just to get the cheaper price.
Just to get the cheaper price. How many of you have ever done that? Right? And so things like that that's like not telling the truth, but I feel like it kind of ties into this idea about you need to take responsibility for your own actions. And so one of them that I'm going to talk about in the blog post is like cleaning up after yourself, right? Like part of the whole lazy parenting thing is making sure that as much as possible, one of my biggest pieces of advice is that you are, from a very young age, teaching them to take care of themselves. So that you don't have to do it.
Right.
I have 4 kids. I can't take care of all of them. So whether one of the big conversations we have in our family is, when you don't do when you leave your dish on the table, this is a big one in my house. Like, who are you expecting to clean that up?
You, Mom.
Yeah, that's not my job. I say that all the time in my family. It might very well be some people's jobs as mom. It's not my job as a mom to clean up after you. I shout it from the rooftops. It's not my job to put your clothes away. It's not my job to wash your clothes. I mean, if you looked at the definition of mom, maybe those things are all old school mom jobs.
Right.
Is to take care of the house and clean. But in our house, damn it, it's not. That's not my job. It's everybody's job to help keep the house clean. And so one of the things was like, from a young age, like when they have to clean up their toys, like how hard is it to stay consistent with making sure that they clean up their toys and that you don't pick it up after them?
Well, in our house, we have a playroom that has 4 buckets of Lego currently all over the floor of it. And so it is. It's a fight that Jeremy, my husband, and I, we never clean it up. They clean it up, but we don't expect them to clean it up all like after every use. So they're getting really good. Like they know it's almost Easter's time, and the Easter bunny doesn't come when the playroom is messy. And so they'll clean up every other week, I guess is what we're kind of doing. But they know that if we clean up the playroom because they made the mess, the Lego goes into a garbage bag and into the garbage.
And have you ever done it?
Yeah.
You've thrown Lego out? Lego's really expensive.
Well, we've put it in downstairs and we've given it away.
Yeah. Or you know what you could do is you could take it, hide it, and re-gift it.
Right.
Because Lego's really expensive.
True.
But I like that you're staying consistent. Something that with us, because I have a cleaning person come to my house, and if you are newly married, I highly recommend this, because this was one of the number one things that caused strife and tension on my side. Probably not my husband's side. He probably didn't care. But to me, it drove me nuts when I started living with someone that, same idea. It's not my job to clean up after you. Like, I'm not going to clean toilets after you.
Right.
Or like, just that big piece for my whole life, that has been something. And so getting a cleaning lady, if you can afford it once a month, once every 2 weeks, once a week, whatever you can scrape up to be able to do that, to me is a lifesaver for a marriage. Because I mean, now I'm paying someone else to clean up some of the messes, but again, not really, because you can't have a cleaning lady or person come to your house when your house is a disaster.
No.
So you have to tidy up your house. So one of the other things it has done in our house is it requires you to clean up.
Right, yeah.
Because
absolutely.
so once a week you had to clean up your rooms or put things away before the cleaning person came. Otherwise, like,
they're spending the whole time you're paying them to tidy your house.
Or I would close the door on their bedroom and say, okay, they're not going to clean your room, and your room is going to stay a disaster. Which hopefully they like that they have a clean room and that's been vacuumed.
Well, I think as they get older, they will do.
Well, and I talk about there's bugs and stuff. Like, you want the cleaning person to come in and vacuum, because who knows what's growing under your bed or in the corners.
Yes.
That's kind of a way to scare them into it as well. So, cleaning up was one of the ones about responsibility. The other thing is, like, can you think of other examples of when, like, the other one was like, what if your kid forgets their homework at home?
Riley walked out today without taking.
She's going cricket.
Oh, I don't know why. She walked out of the house today without taking her saxophone.
And?
Well,
you saw that happen?
Yes.
But you didn't say anything?
No, but one of the boys did. So the boys reminded her.
And then she took it.
Yeah. And
then so she found out before the bad thing, like before she showed up at school without her saxophone.
Yes, she figured it out before.
And so would she have called you if
she
had
it's happened. I won't go back and get it.
You won't go home?
No.
Oh, because you would leave. Right? Yeah. You can't even. But if you were home,
I could.
Would you?
No. It's her responsibility.
Yes. And so it hurts the first couple times, but it's really important to do that.
No, though, I feel like, so I asked her, because it's happened twice before where she's forgotten and messaged me, and I said, or I realized in the car that when we get to pull up to school, because I have to drive, I do driving because I leave, that she forgot it, and she's like, can you go back home? And I said, no, I'm going to wherever I'm going. And I've asked her, so what's happened? He's like, oh, I just get a different instrument to play for that day. So like, I feel like the teacher doesn't necessarily follow through on, I don't know if they get in trouble. I don't want to get in trouble, but like,
I think it would come under their work habit map.
Right. Okay.
Like they would make note of it, and they would fall under their work habit mark on their report card on, like, are they always forgetting their instrument? Again, everybody forgets things once in a while, so it's not like the end of the world.
No.
This is a totally different story. I'm going to tell you this story. My son, one of my sons, had homework for school. He might not let me tell you this story, but I'm going to tell this story anyways. He, so there are days in our family, our kids are really, really busy. And some people might argue that that's not the way that they want to do their family or whatever, but for us it works. Mm-hmm. So our kids might leave. So my son might get home from school at 3 p.m., leave by 3:30, and not get home until 9:30.
Right.
Because he'll go to one sport, get picked up, get taken to another sport, get picked up and brought home.
Yeah.
That happens, I think, right now in the season we're in, twice a week.
Okay.
Where he is gone at 8 a.m., doesn't come home till 3. He might come home for lunch. Leaves at 3:30. Doesn't come home till 9:30. And repeat.
Yeah.
And so this was one of those days. So he had some homework to do. He had assignments that were due the next day. And the teacher said, and it was a lot. Like I said, what is it? And he's like, It was like 100 vocab words.
Oh.
Plus it was all of these reflections on this novel that they're reading. I'm like, are you sure you didn't like, you got this just like, he's on a day 1, day 2? Like, you just got this? He's like, yes, we just got this. He said this was all due. And I'm like, I go, I'll write you a note. I go, this is unreasonable. Like, to me, it was like 2 hours worth of work.
Right.
I'm like, this is not a reasonable thing. Like, I go, you have to handwrite out definitions, 100 words from the book. Then he had to do all of these reflections on paragraphs. And then there was more. Like, he showed me all the work. And I'm like, and he's like, what made me proud to someone was like, no, I'm going to do it. I'm going to just do it. And so he sat and I said, 11 p.m., you're in bed. I go, you're not allowed to stay up past 11. And so at like 10 to 11, he's like, I'm done. Because my kids have to do their homework downstairs, like in a public space. They're not like, there's nothing, bedrooms are bedrooms in our house. That's where you go to sleep. So, or hang out by yourself, I guess, without a phone. But he got it all done. Yeah. And I'm like, good. I'm like, okay. And in my mind, I knew what was going to happen. What do you think happened?
Did you forget to take it to school?
Nope. I knew this was going to happen. And I don't know why I knew it. Maybe it's because I'm a teacher. Yeah. And I know that this is bad. Teacher didn't check the work.
Oh my gosh.
Teacher said, I think other people in the class complained. And the teacher's like, okay, you can have till Monday.
Oh my gosh.
Teachers, don't do that.
Did he say something?
No, because he doesn't want to be that kid. He's not going to be the kid who complains. That's what he said to me. I go, did you say something? Because I'm like, you should have privately gone up to the teacher. But he's like, Mom, I'm not that kid. Like, I'm not going to like put everybody else in the... He just knew he had done it. Yeah. But I'm like, I was really proud of him because he did the work and stayed up and wanted that to be done. But he was so mad. And now he's so mad. So if you're a teacher...
I'm mad for him.
Yes. But as a teacher, you are losing all your credibility as a teacher when you do stuff like that. Because there are going to be those kids in your class who stay up, even if you give them an ungodly, unreasonable amount of homework, that are going to do their homework because they have a self-responsibility, self-accountability that they're going to get it done. Because what if you check it? Right. And then when you don't check it, like, you just...
Even if you gave people the extra time, but just to see who actually did it.
Right. And like give them and make notes for that they get a good work habit or whatever for doing their homework. But to just not, and he still hasn't checked it. This was like a week ago.
Oh my gosh.
Like, and I just, teachers, don't do that. Right. So bad.
That's awful.
Oh. And it's like not even, like it's like a sub teacher. And if you're a student teacher, don't do that. Lesson 101. If you assign homework, you need to check the homework.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's not fair.
No.
That's a fair equality thing. Like, that's not fair.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyways, that was my thing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That was my example of, yeah. That was bad. Anyways, that's all I got.
Okay. Yeah, accountability.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you obviously, like, the fact that he wanted to do it,
No, but he's still, don't get me wrong, that was really good, but there are lots of times my kids constantly are saying things, and that's what I'm getting at. Like, as a parent, this is not a one and done thing. Like, this is a constant message that not only do you have to enforce with your children, but then you have to live as an adult as well, because children are going to learn first and foremost about everything through you modeling to them first and foremost. And so, I mean, I catch myself all the time about things like, here's a perfect example. Today, Katie, my youngest, didn't wake up and I decided to stay in bed this morning. And so it was like, because I knew theoretically I wouldn't have to drive them to school or do anything, and I was just coming here. And so I was like, it was 8 a.m. I'm still in bed. And my older kids come to say goodbye, get me to sign some forms or whatever. And then and then one of them's like, hey, is Katie awake? And I'm like, I asked one of the other children if she was, and they said yes. She was not awake. She was still asleep, and they leave at 8:20 if they walk for school. So she had like 20 minutes to get ready. A little bit longer if I drive them to school. And so that was I very easily, why didn't you wake her up?
Right.
Like, So I easily but again, ultimately in the car when I drove the two to school, I'm like, well, it's not my responsibility, it's not your responsibility, Katie, it's your responsibility to have an alarm clock, wake yourself up.
Yes.
But it's easy to play that Zach, why did you wake her up?
Yes.
You're the first one up. Everybody has to help each other out. Sorry.
Yeah, right.
Everybody has to help each other out. That's
Yes.
also part of the messaging in our family is you're not going to let someone fail if you can help them out,
Yeah.
but nobody woke her up. And so
They're going to let her fail this morning.
yeah, and then I quickly blamed other children because I don't know, could be my responsibility, but again, I play that off that it's not my responsibility. Everybody has to get themselves up, get themselves fed, get themselves ready for school.
Well, my kids are up at 6 every day, so
That'll change when they're teenagers.
oh, I hope so. Well, I don't know if
Maybe.
I do.
Okay, well that's it. That's all. We're gonna go over to the Stephanie Kennedy, and I'm gonna do her makeover. It's not that close to you. It's
I feel like it is.
Makeover with the mascara makeup. So I'm
Yes.
gonna go do that on her face right now. And then I'm gonna be placing an order for that. So if you're interested, let me know, and we'll do that.
Sounds good.
Okay. Bye, everyone.
Goodbye.